Hey friends, it's Val from Pull Up a Bale podcast. And if you love dairy, innovation, and connecting with people who get it, you've got to check out the first American Dairy XPO. It's happening November 5th and 6th at the Champlain Valley Exposition in Vermont. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Grab a free breakfast, explore a 200-company trade show, meet Olympian and dairy producer Elle St. Pierre, and soak up knowledge in the Dairy Delivers classroom. And the best part, Dairy Fest on November 5th at 4 p.m. Think massive dairy buffet, live entertainment, and the best networking around. Head over to AmericanDairyExpo.com. That's AmericanDairyXPO.com for tickets, discounts, and all the details. So pull up a bale and join us. It's going to be an event you'll never forget. Details. Pull up a bale and join us there. It's going to be an event you'll never want to miss. As a busy mom and dairy farmer, I'm always looking for ways to support my family's health as well as my own, and I absolutely love Wonder Cow Colostrum. It's packed with essential nutrients, great for supporting gut health, boosts immunity, and promotes overall wellness. Whether it's for me, my kids, or anyone looking to stay strong and healthy, Wonder Cow is my go-to daily supplement. I have been taking it for a year now, and it is irreplaceable in my daily routine. If you want to experience the amazing benefits of colostrum too, you can use my special code, DairyGalVal, at checkout for a discount. Give Wonder Cow a try, and you will definitely feel the difference. Hey, I'm Val Lavigne, farmer, mom, and host of this here Pull Up a Bale podcast. This is where real stories from rural life meet bold conversations about the future of agriculture. So pull up a bale and let's talk. So today on the bale, welcome back everybody. Today on the bale, we have actually a longtime friend of mine, Heather Young. Heather, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Hey, Val. Good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. So a little bit of a different view into ag from your point of view. So do you want to start by just telling us a little bit about you in the here and now?
Yeah, sure. So my background started, I was born and raised in central New York, and our family's farm is 6 generations. My brother and I are the 6th generation of that farm. The barn was built in 1862, and we're still milking out of that barn. So that's a really cool claim to fame. And our house was moved by a team of mules from the creek up to where it is currently.
So here's something in all these years of knowing you that I didn't know we had in common. My original farmhouse on our farm was actually about a quarter, maybe between a quarter and a half mile away from where it sits now. And it too was moved when they built the dam in the river that runs next to our farm. It was moved by, they said like 40 teams of mules or something like that. It's a big brick house. So a fun little connection there.
Absolutely. Who would have known? We thought we knew everything about each other until now.
You think you know someone, and then you realize their house was moved by mules too.
Exactly. The most crazy random thing possible.
I mean, that's how life goes.
Exactly. Yeah. So fast forward a few years, just a few years from 1862. And I was a junior in high school and I became dairy princess for our county. And that's how you and I began our connection. And so from that point, I had a very interesting shift in being able to communicate what I was born and raised in, took it as second nature, just like saying hi to somebody when they smile and wave at you, for the general public, and being able to explain to them what we do on the dairy farm and why we do that. And so that was where this bug of being able to figure out how to communicate our story, what we do, why we do it, to the public better and more efficiently and more naturally or free flowing. And so I did my associate's degree at Morrisville State College in agriculture business. And then I did my bachelor's degree in dairy science also at Morrisville. And then I thought I was going to transfer into Cornell to get my degree, my master's degree in ag education, but the funding model shifted that year. And so they shifted from being offered at Cornell to being offered at SUNY Oswego. And so I decided that the joke's on me that I didn't want to learn how to be an ag teacher online. And now I teach online. So that was a joke on me 20 years ago.
I
But
didn't say we had to date ourselves, Heather.
oh, that's true. Good call. Good call. We'll have to edit that out.
You go, what? Wink, wink.
It had to have been when I was just a wee little kid. And so from that point, I went to work in the dairy industry and I worked for upstate Niagara for a summer, getting their animal well-being program kicked off. And then I transitioned to Dairy Farmers of America. And I worked there for just shy of 10 years. I wish I could say officially 10 years, but it was 9 years and 7 months because there was this PhD opportunity that happened to just arise. So that's how I landed where I am today is unfortunately or fortunately my sarcasm kind of broadened my horizons a little bit. Naive me did not know that assistantships were a thing and that you could work to get your college degree paid for by the university. And so I sarcastically said that if somebody wanted to pay me to move to Florida to get my PhD, absolutely sign me up. And then they said, well, that is a possibility. All you have to do is apply. It's like, oh, crud. Okay, now I have to
Actually,
think
here you
about
are.
it.
Let's go.
Exactly. So that is a really short snippet of where I started and how I got to where I am today.
So what is your what is your title today and what kind of things do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So my official title is an instructional assistant professor. And so at I think 6 years from starting, I can go up for promotion. So then I could get promoted to be an associate professor instead of an
Hmm.
assistant professor.
Different A, long name.
I know exactly. It's not that big of a deal. And so I work in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences here at the University of Florida. Go Gators. And then I am in the Department of Agricultural Education and Communication. And I am in the specific communication specialization or the individual group of communication faculty. And I am responsible for teaching the department's two largest enrollment courses. And so I teach a research and business writing class that is pertaining to agriculture and natural resources. And that class has 250 students in it, and it's completely online. And so I get students from all walks of life. And whether they like it or not, they get a taste of agriculture and they are more informed at the very least when they walk out the door. And then the other class that I teach is the effective oral communication class, which is the one that I have you come in and guest speak on. And that one is 130-ish students. So in a calendar year, I teach 700 students, which is insane in my mind. It's just like, wow, that's a lot. And
But
then
when
I
you think
also,
about it, when you're making sure that they each have a touch point in agriculture, hey, that's 700 plus more students that are now going out into the world with a better understanding of agriculture and at least a resource if they do have questions to go back and ask. So
absolutely,
look
absolutely.
at the positive.
I guess. Yes, exactly. I love it when I have a student that starts my class and they come up to me after the first lecture and they're just like, I don't know as if I can keep going in this class. Why? What? I scared you off in the first lecture? Is that even possible? We just talked about the syllabus. And they're like, I don't know anything about agriculture. Like, stop, pause. You do. You know you do.
Food, you good.
Exactly. I'm like, you have clothes on your body right now. Thank you for that. And that is agriculture. And they just are completely amazed. And I'm like, well, cotton is the fiber that makes your clothes, right? I mean, unless you have like polyester or something to that effect. And that's just a whole nother level. But like, if you have something on your body that is made through agriculture, you ate today, or you had a protein drink today, that is all related back to agriculture, whether it be dairy based or plant based, doesn't matter. We won't get into that one today. That it's just like opening
But
their.
we know what the right answer is.
Oh, absolutely. We
Okay.
do. We do for sure. It is tall glass white and it has little sweat beads rolling down that glass because it's ice cold milk. Fantastic stuff. So I think being able to have that opportunity to teach those kids or students when they come into my class, not thinking that they're going to be able to do anything with it because they're not connected to it, is the aha moment, and it makes this job worthwhile, is being able to take someone that had no awareness and flip it.
Yes, definitely. So you've been teaching for how many years now?
Officially in charge of this class since August of 23, but I was finishing up my last semester of my PhD, and the professor that was in charge of this class before I interviewed and was hired had to go on a medical leave. And so I was finishing my dissertation, defending my dissertation, being the instructor of record for 300 students, managing 15 TAs, and preparing for an interview seminar, which when you do faculty interviews, they're all day long instead of just a half hour or an hour Zoom meeting. So I was doing all of that and managed to graduate. And so I count that in my time frame. So actually, I've been doing this since the beginning of the summer of 2023.
Awesome. Time flies though.
It does. It does. It's crazy.
So I want to bring it back, to you growing up on the dairy farm. Do you want to kind of talk a little bit more about your farm? You said it was a multi-generation older farm, which is really awesome to see it passed down through so many generations. But give us a taste of what it was like for you growing up on the farm.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not a huge farm. We milk at the most 100 cows just for what our facilities handle. We do not have any hired labor. It's just my mom, my dad, and my brother currently doing all of the labor on the farm. We do all of our own crops, with the exception of having somebody come in and custom chop the corn at the end of the year. Everything else is done by the three of us, or the four of us when I was still there. And so I loved the farm life. I loved growing up. You might not think it in the moment. You're like, I can't wait until I can go to college and get away from doing chores, or get away from the farm life and be able to go do what I want, stay up as late as I want. It's really not that fantastic. Cows make life so much better. I will just say that. And
They
so
definitely do.
they do, absolutely. And so when I was in high school, there was not like, everybody would talk about going out to their friend's house for the weekend, or they'd go on family vacations. And I'm like, oh, that's great. We don't
That
do that.
sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what do you mean you go to South Carolina for a week during spring break? Oh, that sounds like fun. So I used to think of it as more of a curse than a blessing, because it's just like, I didn't get to do that kind of stuff. But we had that family time together when we were working together on the farm. And so I think those were much more valuable, where I can't necessarily say that it didn't cost money to do those things, because everything costs when you're running a farm. Like, there's nothing for free. And but that was the valuable use of our time, was the actually having that time working together. And I remember I was in high school and we were building the new heifer barn. And it's funny how when you grow up as an ag kid, whether it be beef, dairy, poultry, whatever, every building is related to either what grade you were in, or what school, or how old you were that year. Like, oh yeah, we built that when she was a junior in high school.
So I just dated yesterday. We were talking to someone and I dated one of the barns. I was like, it must have been like 9, almost 10 years ago, because the twins were babies when we built that. So
Yes, exactly. It's
I get
all
that.
relative.
Yep.
So being able to do that kind of stuff, like, you had so many more technical skills that even shop class in high school didn't teach you what we already knew going into it. The shop teacher was just like, here, you might as well teach it. You can do this better than we can. And so those were some, looking back on it now, they're super valuable experiences. But like I said, we have about 100 cows in the summer when they can go out, they rotationally graze. And then in the winter time, we reduce a little bit, call out some of the lower producers, and be able to just make sure that we don't overstock the free stalls. And so we retrofitted the flat barn tie stall, the original tie stall, as a flat barn parlor. And so the cows have their holding area from the free stalls, and then they go out through a return door, and et cetera, et cetera. We always thought it was really cool that our cows knew how to do tricks. Instead of exiting out through the front of the stall, we tap them and they back up out of the stall. And so it was just the coolest thing, like my cow does a trick. And so that was one of the fun things at the fairgrounds when you'd have the pet shows and conversations about what kind of tricks your dog does. And like, well, my cow does this. But we had
My idea of cow tricks goes back to when I was a kid, and we had a tie stall when I was a young kid, and I had all my little pet calves, and they were all halter trained, but they were not halter trained to walk nicely like a show heifer. Oh no, they trotted behind me like a dog, and I'd put hay bales across, and we would jump the bales and do all sorts of
agility,
stuff. Like my best friends growing up. Are you kidding me? Like
right?
some of the
Absolutely.
best memories.
Mhm. Being a kid and playing with your calves. It was
Yes.
the best thing. Pretend playing fair. My mom probably got so sick of me asking for paper so I could make cow signs and baling twine back when you actually had like the sisal twine and not the plastic twine. And
Yep.
we would string it up and that knot would be perfect for hanging your card on the end of it.
And it made me really good at braiding, that baling twine.
Yes. Yes. That is
My
where I
kids
learned how
never
to
know.
braid. Yep. Grandpa gave me a piece of baling twine and hooked it to the cow chain. And he's like, here you go, braid.
Yep, we had a couple nails in the wall that you could stick it on and then braid. And
Mhm.
I'd braid my fancy show calves, I'd braid them collars.
Yes.
So if they did really good that day, they'd get a new collar, like the little things in life.
It was, and, like, no kid in the city was going to have those experiences. They might be able to get to go to New York City, or they might be able to get to go to Myrtle Beach, but they never had that opportunity.
They've never had a jumping calf over hay bales.
Exactly.
And I bet you they never learned how to roller skate in the back of the tie stall barn and wiped out in the gutter a few times. That's
Right? Exactly, exactly. Or when they just poured the fresh slab on a new bunk, and you'd be able to rollerblade through that because it was so smooth,
nice
it
and
was
smooth and clean.
fantastic. Yes, smooth and
Yep.
clean, it was fabulous.
Yep, the good old days.
Exactly, exactly. So, yeah, there were a lot of great fun memories, I think, when I was growing up and learning how to drive the tractor and haul hay wagons and silage wagons through our small town before I even legally could drive a car. And here I am with this couple ton vehicle. And so those were always unique perspectives where you had to go to driver's ed after you've already been doing all of that. It's like, yeah, okay, got this.
Take my road test in a tractor. Would that work?
Right? Like, I can back that sucker up without any problem, but you want me to parallel park in the middle of a city? No, thank you.
Won't need to be doing that, okay?
There's nothing that's going to fit in a parallel parking spot.
As you got older, spending time on the farm, what were your envisions for what you were going to do when you went off to college?
That's a great question. At first, I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. I need a degree. I want a degree. And so I did my bachelor's and I figured that that was going to be the end until I had that Cornell experience where I'm like, ooh, and I'll give a shout out, Dr. Travis Park. You were the one that got me the bug. And so that is where I made my first lesson plan. And from there, I was just like, this is cool stuff. This is how I can actually take what I was thinking about as Dairy Princess and actually put it to use and know how to do it the right way so people actually learn something in the process of it. And so I forgot where I was going.
So, but when you were going to college, did you have a career path in mind, or were you just like, I'm going to go for something dairy related and then see what happens?
Yes, yeah, that was exactly it. Thank you. I'd go to Morrisville, get my bachelor's degree. Originally, I did my associates because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Figured out that I like the dairy science track, so I did that. And I figured I was going home afterwards. I honestly thought that's what I was going to do. And then the upstate opportunity happened, and I just kind of had one opportunity lead to another opportunity, lead to another opportunity. So I never actually had to sit down and wonder and go through the newspaper and be like, what jobs are available? Luckily, I'm going to knock on wood a few times for that one because that just seemed like something that it wasn't a struggle for what I had. I never imagined that I would be in Florida because humidity and I don't get along. And here I live in the city of humidity. So, yeah, the career trajectory, I never saw myself being where I am. Never saw myself even having a master's degree. And so it's not alone PhD wise and teaching at a university. It's just insane. Oh
Funny
yeah.
how that all works out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I honestly figured that I would be home and my brother and I would take over for mom and dad and just figure out how to divide and conquer. And I guess we just never had to get to that point.
That's always it's a good thing and a bad thing all at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There were definitely some moments where I was just like, yeah, I really feel like I let everybody down by not being back on the farm. But at the same time, I'm just like, with the way that the economy is, and if we look at things realistically, it is so hard to have a small farm that is self sufficient and
Can
actually make a
support
living.
that many family members too.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. And so, like I said, we do everything ourselves. And
Mhm.
so we never had hired labor. And so it was one thing to not even be able to have the extra cash flow to be able to go ahead and find somebody as a replacement if it was something that we had wanted to do. And so it just didn't make sense for the size of the farm that we had. And it works for what we have for availability, and we don't have to buy feed. So that's where it's beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of want to touch on your time as a field rep for DFA as we cross paths yet again there.
Yeah.
And, I want to kind of chat about like, what are some of the things that you learned, like lessons that you learned through your time doing that field rep slash milk inspector job?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. When I first started, I was the floater. I got to go around to any territory or region that needed additional support or somebody to fill in. Uh, and so I started in that realm. And then I worked into doing more of the National Farm Program evaluations. And so that was floating around, helping different field reps get rolling on that process when it was first coming out as a voluntary program. And so I did that. And it really, that was one of the bigger, like, okay, you need to kind of step back and put yourself into two different worlds.
Mhm.
So not only younger generation, tech savvy, et cetera, but I mean, our first surveys, I think, were faxed in. So they were filling the bubble and fax them in. So that one wasn't as tech savvy as when they got me
Gosh,
the
I forgot about that
iPad.
horror.
That was
Oh my
terrible. That
gosh.
was a terrible time.
And I didn't have a fax machine, so I had to go to Staples every time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not the best. It's much nicer when it's digitalized. But you also I got a really big culture shift or awareness of the different areas of the Northeast. I went from the Canadian border to the Pennsylvania, Ohio line to the Maryland, Virginia border. And so being able to see different perspectives of different farmers in different areas was very interesting. And most of our climates were pretty similar until you got down close to that Maryland, Virginia line where it didn't get as cold or snowy and the barns were a little bit different. But it was so cool to be able to go have 2 or 3 hour conversations with these farmers that I never would have been able to come across if it hadn't been for that opportunity. And I remember there was this one, it was in, I think, Pennsylvania somewhere. If it wasn't in Pennsylvania, it was in Maryland. And it was this circle barn. It was built out of brick and the lady milked jerseys. And it was the first barn that I had ever been into that was a circle barn. And she told me so many stories about the history of that barn. There were secret tunnels underneath of the barn for when they were hiding, whether it be from the war or whether it be slavery. I don't remember what the story was nowadays, but that was just so cool. And it was this old colonial house. And she's like, well, come inside and we'll finish this paperwork up and then I'll show you around. And it was just that was the coolest experience to be able to have those conversations, be able to see the history of the farm and hear their passion for the industry. And so they might have been irritated with some of the questions that they were being asked and like that judgmental tone per se of, oh, well, if you don't do this standard operating procedure, then you need to change your ways.
Yeah.
Once we work through those moments, it was really fascinating to be able to just pull off of all that passion that they had for what they do and why they do it. Because none of us do this to make money.
Let's be real.
Let's be real. This is not the job. If you want to turn around and become a millionaire, do not start the dairy industry.
Unless you're starting as a billionaire,
Yes,
don't start dairy farming. Yes.
exactly.
That's what they say. The quickest way to become a millionaire is start dairy farming as a billionaire.
Exactly. Yes. It will disappear so fast.
Yes. So at what point, in that almost 10-year range, did you realize that there was probably more out there for you and kind of, start poking your head around looking for more opportunities and seeing what else was out there?
Yeah. Yeah. I started with DFA in 2010. And I think it was 5 years in that I was just like, things are great. Like my job, like talking to the farmers, like doing what I do. But am I going to do this my whole life? And I didn't really think so, but I didn't know what else I was going to do. And so I was like, I could always go back and fall onto that ag teacher realm that I had still kind of like kindling in the back of my mind here. Is of, hey, there's that thing that you like talking to people about. So with my husband's a military veteran, and he is 100% permanent and totaled with PTSD. And so part of his military benefits of thanks for your service is by me being his spouse is I get education benefits through that. And so that's how I started on the master's degree track of using it's called chapter 35 benefits. And luckily the University of Florida had an online master's program that did not require any face-to-face interaction for that degree program, because that was one of the hardest parts of deciding what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go. Is if I did want to go on this ag teacher trajectory, it was going to require student teaching. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, I can't do that and have a full-time job at the same time. And
Yeah,
and in a job like what we had, it was you're on call 24/7, 365, just as if you were a farmer yourself.
yes,
So,
100%.
yeah. And so that's where I started, is when I found that the master's program was truly completely 100% online, asynchronous. So I didn't have to log in for class at a certain time. I did it all on my own. That was when I decided I would apply for it, and I got in. And so I was just like, okay, well, I can do this while working. And so for anybody that might be thinking about doing a master's degree online, I recommend doing it while you're single and don't have a family. It was
I was just gonna
challenging.
say, that might have been fun because you had small children and all the things.
Yes, both of my kids were under 5 years old at that point when I was doing my master's degree. And so luckily I had Jeremy. It was like, you're going to be a single dad. I would work all day, come home, get him fed, get him washed and bathed and sent to bed, and maybe spend an hour on the couch watching TV and go to the office and work until 2 o'clock in the morning and do it
Oh
all
my
over again. So I don't
Nope.
recommend doing that once you have kids.
No, definitely not. I don't know if I recommend at this stage of my life, I don't know if I recommend staying up till 2 a.m. So
That too, right? That too. Yeah. You do not recover like we did in college.
I don't think I ever recovered, like, even in college. Yeah, 2 a.m. If you see me at 2 a.m., there's probably something wrong and you should probably run.
Exactly. Don't bother me.
Gosh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, that's
So
where it
you
kind
made
of
it through.
transitioned from one to the other.
And what are some of the really, I mean, you mentioned also about how it's really neat to be able to give these students that you're teaching a touch point on agriculture and, that background, that place where they can go ask questions if they want to learn more about agriculture.
Mm.
What are some of the other things that you have learned through teaching or just different skills and things that you have acquired?
Mm. Yeah. So going back to a Dairy Princess, when we would get asked questions about how can you take a calf away from its mom? Like, it's easy when you think about the concept of why we do that. We keep it so the cow doesn't lay on the calf because, yes, they're adorable, lovable things, but sometimes they're pretty dumb. and they don't realize what they're doing until they've just smothered their calf. And so I related that to the reason why we have babies sleep in cribs. You have it sleep in a crib so it's safe and it's in an area that is protecting it. And so that's when we move the calves into their calf hutch, is it's their crib. And then moving them from the calf hutch into group housing, it's like your baby or your toddler going to preschool. And so being able to recognize that connection. And then when I go through the schooling and I find out that it's called something, I don't know what the technical word is, but it's called meeting the consumer or the person where they're at. And so meeting your audience where they are is the basis that we have got to embody for in our industry, because not everyone's there. Like, we're what, 1% of the population, and so no one is going to have an infinite understanding of the industry. And so if we can find that one piece that they do understand, like, hey, have you ever grown a tomato before, or have you ever grown a plant before? Okay, and then we can connect there and build on to how we feed cows. And so that is something that was like the aha, this is fabulous. So I'm that person that, even though it's agriculture and life sciences is like the core name of the course, it's agricultural natural resources inside my course. And so we don't talk about biology, we don't talk about pre-med, we talk about agriculture and natural resources and the scientific issues that are impacting the industry or impacting organizations that are involved in the industry. And so I get like way back to the beginning where I was talking about the different students that I have. I had one student that was a pharmacy major, and she was taking my writing class, and she's like, I have no idea what a science issue would be that's anything that I would be remotely interested in writing about, because I don't know anything about agriculture. I'm like, okay, well, what do we know in pharmacy? What's something that is a campaign that everybody talks about? And they're like, oh, well, don't flush your pills down the toilet. I'm like, okay, why do we do that? Why do we not want people to flush the pills down the toilet? And she's like, well, because it can affect the water. Fantastic. Guess what? Water is a natural resource. So here we go. And we spiraled on it. And she ended up going to a NOAA conference because they were talking about water pollution. I was like, this is fabulous. And so moments like that was just like, yes, this is all working. And so being able to find that one piece, that one connection that you can make, and then being able to build from there is where everything starts from. You can do anything once you establish that general connection. And so it's kind of like experiential learning, in if you look at it on the academic side of things, where you have a prior experience that you can connect to, and then you build the information that you're learning in that class or in that moment on top of what you already experienced in your life. And so you're just adding on to what you already know. And so that just helps the learning process and remembering.
Yeah. And I feel like it's just a giant game of dot to dot. Like, it all
So true.
connects. It's just
So
figuring out how it connects.
yeah.
And I really like that that's the way that you go about explaining it, because once you make it personal to them and like tie it to something that does mean something to them, not only are they going, it's going to click, but they're also going to remember those lessons a lot more than
Yes.
just another thing, just another class we got through. Now we can kind of like forget about it and move on.
Yes, yes. I had a student email me. She was terrified to take my public speaking class. She's like, I don't speak in front of people, but I have to have this class. My two classes are requirements for graduation, so they have to take it. So no one's there
You got to
volunteering.
get through me first.
Exactly. Like, this is my moment to be able to teach you something, whether it's academic or not, you're going to learn about agriculture. So she sent me an email after the semester had ended, and there was a public town hall on a development in a local prairie. And she's like, I don't know what my voice will actually have on the final impact, but I learned from your class that if I don't say something, then no one's going to know what my opinion is. Oh my gosh, I love
You were
this.
listening.
I'm like, oh, it's amazing. So that's someone that she worked in the emergency department in the hospitals. And she did something with x-rays and veins, and I don't know what the technical term is for what she was doing, but she did something super cool. And again, it was that, what do I have to do with agriculture, and what does agriculture have to do with me? But now she's seeing that connection with the natural resources side.
That's
Yeah.
really great. And I love the fact that you're out there and that you were able to have that experience as a young person and just really love to spread that, education about agriculture, the love of agriculture and understanding even. And now you're able to apply that throughout your life. And, you know, it's really cool how it kind of came full circle and that it was very unexpected how you ended up where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. On my introduction day in my oral communication class, I tell them, I like everybody raise your hand. And most of the time it's offered on Zoom. Occasionally I have in-person lectures, but I tell them raise your hand or make some signal in Zoom land of if you're terrified of public speaking. And there's like 2 or 3 people that don't do something. And those are usually like your FFA state officers or 4-H officers that have that kind of training and grooming. But I raised my hand right along with everybody else. And they're just like, what are you doing? Why are you raising your hand? You're teaching us how to effectively communicate with people. And you say you're terrified of public speaking. I'm like, well, I was when I was in your shoes. That's the reason why I pushed off being dairy princess for 2 or 3 years, was because I didn't want to give speeches in front of people. I'll have a conversation one-on-one with somebody, but don't make me stand up and have a whole bunch of people watch me. No, not happening. And I would have to wear a dress a bunch of times. Didn't like wearing dresses. And I said that in the other podcast that I was doing recently. And I was wearing a dress that day. And they're like, we're going to edit that in there that you are wearing a dress.
Actually, plot twist. Now we're just wearing dresses willingly.
Exactly, because they're cooler.
I found one. Oh my gosh, I got a dress on Amazon and it's got pockets.
Right?
It's super comfy and it's actually somewhat flattering. And I wore it somewheres not very long ago. And it was just like I just wore it instead of like to a special occasion. And Greg just looked at me and he's like, oh, and I was like, I just figured it was cozy today. And he was like, okay, got to keep them on their toes.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
never know what your wife's going to do next.
Right. Full circle. Full circle.
Yeah. Keep them on their toes. So with that, I want to move into just some fun rapid fire questions just to get to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
So being in Florida, what's your favorite season?
There's only one season in Florida. It is summer, like July, August in the North Country. It is that year around, with the exception of you get a little bit cold in December, where there might occasionally be just the slightest bit of frost on your windshield.
So you're enjoying the year-round summer, or?
I really enjoy January to May. Yeah, that's like the beginning parts of summer in the north. Yes, don't visit in August. It was 125 the other day.
I'm good. I mean, and like I said, I'd rather do that than the cold here, but neither here nor there.
The only difference, yeah, I mean, so snowstorms, I hated them at the time, but the snow always would melt and it would always go away. Hurricanes, not so much. Luckily, we haven't been directly impacted. Areas close to us have been, but I don't know. That one's one where you can only prepare so much. Stuff doesn't go away the next day or a couple of weeks later. It's there for years if it's bad. So
yeah, I'm good without hurricanes up here. That does make life a little easier.
yeah,
I can complain about snow all I want.
right. I mean, when it's hot, once it gets hot, it stays hot. You don't have that fluctuation in temperatures. So like I was talking to my mom one day and she says, oh yeah, it's 90 degrees. And I'm like, oh, you're only 10 degrees colder than us. And then the next day she's in a sweatshirt and it's 60 degrees. I'm like, no, that I do not miss.
We did not have the fluctuation this year though. It stayed hot like for multiple weeks, which was very out of character for us in New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now it went from like crazy hot and now it's like, it's fall, y'all. Like, let's wear sweatshirts.
Rain, doom, and gloom.
Where did just normal temperatures go? Like, we didn't need to extreme, just nice.
Yeah.
Just be nice.
I always joke that my comfort zone and a cow's comfort zone are very similar.
That's a little chilly for me. I'm like a 75, 80 kind of girl.
Yeah.
Still a little touch warm for the cows, but that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Well, hot tea or cold tea?
Hot tea.
Coffee.
She says.
No sugar, just milk. No cream, just milk. Whole milk.
Yes. Let's see. Cats or dogs?
I'm going to go dogs. Cats are just sometimes annoying.
Favorite like book as a kid?
How young of a kid?
Like, what's a memorable book from when you were a kid? Like, it doesn't, you know, back when you were.
Day No Pigs Would Die.
I don't know if I've ever heard that one.
What?
I'm gonna have to look that up.
You're gonna have to look that one up. Yes. That was one middle school-ish.
Okay.
It's when you make those dioramas out of coat hangers. That's why I remember that one to this day. Yep. A Day No Pigs Would Die. Look it up.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. I was going Little House on the Prairie. That's my go-to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the wilder ones. Our old house was actually, when we lived in New York, our old house was not far from the Wilder farm.
Yes, I have yet as a huge fan of all of the Little House on the Prairie series. I have yet to visit the Wilder farm, and I'm really disappointed in myself for that. Just summer gets so busy, and I really don't have any interest in going in the winter.
No, no, absolutely not. You can't see anything or do anything in the wintertime. No.
Not to mention
Yeah.
that.
4 hours away from you, if that.
Yeah, I know. I got to get there. It's been on my to-do list for multiple years.
To do will get
Yep.
done eventually.
Summer just goes by way too fast. So
Absolutely.
that's where I'm at today.
Feeling that.
Sweet or savory?
Old me or new me?
I didn't
Old
know
me
we had
was like,
super-
God, definitely. I got more than 2. Depends on the day and
There's a
depends on the
couple here.
topic. So I used to be sweet because I was a wimp and could not handle spice. And now I don't call it spicy. I call it flavorful. And Asian seafood boil, the crawfish boil. Yes, sir. That is where I am at now. Good stuff.
Changing taste buds. Here we are.
Absolutely. My mom came down for my graduation and she's like, what happened to you? You like,
Who are you?
burnt my eyes just smelling it and you're sitting there mowing down. And I'm like, yeah, it's good. You gotta have some. Mom's like, I want
Learn
one
what seasoning is, Mom. It's fine.
like 3/4 of a can of Old Bay. Yeah, that's about right.
Yes, my husband is he loves to season things. Sometimes he over seasons them for me, and I'm like, but
Like up a little bit.
happy medium, friend, happy medium.
There you go. There you go.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, this one is one where I only have one answer for, and you'll be super proud of me for actually following the directions. Maple walnut.
Following the directions.
Fruit. I don't follow directions at all. Never changed.
Things exciting.
Exactly. Exactly. I have so many great memories with my grandpa and eating maple walnut ice cream. I would beg him after he finished helping us with chores when I was little. I would get to go to grandpa's house afterwards for breakfast. And my mom would be like, you have to do your chores before you can go. So I would do the lickety split, or I'd be like, can I just do them when I get back? And then we would go to grandpa's and we would get Stewart's ice cream. And it would be, which I really, really miss. And I have to say that Bluebell ice cream is the closest that you can get to Stewart's, but they do not have a peanut butter pandemonium, which is a problem. Yeah, it is a big problem. Yeah. But maple walnut ice cream in the good old fashioned ice cream cones, like the ones that you get at McDonald's, before we had breakfast. And grandma used to get so mad because grandpa would let me do it. It was fabulous.
But grandpa said it was okay and he's an adult, so it's fine.
Exactly. I was the epitome of a grandpa's girl. Like that was me. 100%. Fully owned that one.
Fully owned and took full advantage.
Definitely.
So have you gotten down, you're more north, I believe. Have you gotten down into Sutton ice cream?
No.
They're in Okeechobee.
Oh, nope. I have not been that far.
Well, I don't know how close it gets to you, but you should look up Sutton's ice cream.
Okay. I will look that up.
They have really good, unique flavors, and it's delicious.
Interesting.
A good family. Or
Fantastic.
if you take a trip to Okeechobee, go to their farm.
Are they the Milking R?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I follow them on Facebook.
So you got to get Sutton's ice cream.
I guess so. I guess so. We have friends in Fort Myers, and so it's not too far from Okeechobee-ish. I mean, when you think about the grand
It's worth the extra trip.
Yes.
Especially the kids. If you go, you got to obviously see when they're open, but if you go, they have like a big play area for the kids and all sorts of stuff. It's a very nice place to go.
At its finest.
Highly recommend. They do a fantastic job. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. We'll have to look at
There's
that.
your tidbit. But their ice cream, when we go to visit my grandparents in Florida every year, we now make it a thing to get Sutton ice cream because it's delicious.
Fantastic. Love
we
it.
have one. It's Do you know the Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies?
Yes.
They have one, it's called like Big Deb. Those cookies in it, and it's like a oatmeal cream ice cream. Oh my gosh, it's really good.
Gonna
So,
have to try that one. I like Bluebell's oatmeal cream pie ice cream that they
oh,
have.
they have one too. Okay.
Yep. Yep. They have one. They also have a banana pudding one. It's good in small amounts. It's too sweet for a big one. So, see, my taste buds changed. Used to be all about the sweets.
Sutton, they have a cookie butter one that's really good because cookie butter is a big thing down south. That's like their number one flavor or something like that. My memory here, but pretty sure. Anyhow,
Love it.
their ice cream is delicious. So
I used to joke that any ice cream stand in New York, I knew exactly where it was and when they were open and when their season ran. And down here, I am sadly disappointed that there are not more ice cream stands. Like, I mean, true, it would melt as soon as you walk out the door, but but doesn't mean we can't eat it inside.
that just means you need to eat it faster.
True, and get more.
Or when you get your cone, you get a dish to flop it into when it gets too drippy.
That is the first learning experience. I'm like, never again. Gotta have the cone and gotta have the dish.
I think when I was a kid, I just didn't eat it fast enough that I needed the dish because I just couldn't eat ice cream fast enough. Now I'm like, no problem, it's gone.
Exactly. I got this.
Is your favorite go-to comfort meal?
Oh, it used to be cheesecake. And I know that's a dessert and not a meal, but
Cheesecake is a meal in my book.
I mean, it has your bread, it has your dairy. I mean, it has eggs in there too.
You can
So
put fruit on it, it's fine.
exactly. You can put strawberries, blueberries, anything you want on top. But now I made this new one the other day. It's called, and again, spicy chicken pasta. It was so good. So easy and so good. And it's just fabulous.
And do you guys have Culver's near you down there?
We do.
What's
Fried
your
cheese curd,
Culver's?
the fried cheese curd, and there was the concrete mixer.
Yep.
Yep.
Deliciousness.
Yep. Absolutely. Get some Heath bars crumbles in the concrete mixer. Yes, that's where it's at.
First, you got to start with your cheese curds.
Of course, yeah. You can't eat cold cheese curds. They have to be hot if they're fried.
Now I just need cheese curds.
Yes.
Problem.
Where my old territory was, I dropped samples off at the macadam cheese plant in Chateauguay, and that's
They're
where they
delicious.
made all of the Agromark cheese curds. Even though I'm DFA, I will buy Agromark cheese curds all day long. And
They're
now,
delicious.
now I'm like, I don't want to have to pay $8 for a sandwich bag for cheese curds down here because they don't taste the same. They
They're
aren't,
not as good.
and they're not exactly. They're not as good. They're not as fresh. They're not squeaky, and you can never get them warm. They're
Yep.
always cold by the time you get them.
Yep. So now you just got to get fried ones.
Exactly. I don't even bother trying to get cold ones because I know I'm going to be disappointed.
Terrible. What is your favorite place that you've traveled to so far?
You're going to laugh at me
No.
because we've been down here now since 2020, and I think I've been just into the Everglades, just
Oh,
barely into the Everglades. I can actually say that I've been to Disney Springs now because I went to dinner with some friends after a conference in Orlando, and we have not done any sightseeing because we live across the road from one of the springs, and our county is like the springs capital of the world. So down here we go swimming in water that's 72 degrees that's like temperature, period. You turn the faucet on, it's 72 degrees. And so think about this. This is polar shift here, way off topic, but it's okay. You know, when it's really cold out at home and you turn the water on and you don't want to splash that water on your face because it's so cold. So you wait and let the water warm up to at least the room temperature of the house. Down here, in the summertime, anytime really, you turn the water on and you're quick to get your hands in the water because that's the coldest it's going to get. Before it goes back up to 72 degrees. People looked at us like we were crazy the first year we moved down, and we went swimming in the springs on New Year's.
yeah, and they were wearing parkas.
Yes, people thought it was crazy because it was 60 degrees out. And I'm like, this is fabulous. It was 40 below zero 2 weeks before we moved down here. They're like, it gets that cold when it goes that low.
Oh, I love it.
Long story short, we have went nowhere in Florida other than like
Enjoy
occasionally
your
Ocala.
local area.
Yes, exactly. Our county has more cows than people. Fantastic. Just how I
That
like it.
that's a good kind of county to live in.
Absolutely.
So, a more deeper thought question, if you could go back to 20-year-old you, what advice would you give her?
That's tough. That is tough. Be more confident in yourself. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably my shortest answer. Just be more confident. Have more confidence.
Would 20-year-old you have listened?
No, absolutely not. No.
I just said, "Yeah, okay, bye."
Right? Like, oh, that's a great thought. Move on.
I love that. That's funny.
Yes.
I would have told her that, but she wouldn't have listened, so she
Mhm.
had to learn the hard way anyways.
Exactly. Exactly. Life of hard knocks right here.
I love it. And what quote do you have for us today?
Yes. So nerdy me, my dissertation was on critical thinking and how group work can encourage the critical thinking process and enhance the learning experience in students. So I was on this webinar one day, and this lady is the founder of some critical thinking foundation in California somewhere. And she ended it with her late husband's favorite quote. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I love this quote too. Can I borrow it? And apparently somebody else wrote this. I have no idea who that person actually was. So whoever they are, I'm very sorry that I'm not crediting you with your actual name, but your quote lives on. For every problem under the sun, there is a solution or there is none. If there be one, seek till you find it. If there be none, never mind it. And I love it. And it's on my door in my office. And I have
Why
it
does that
for
resonate
everybody to
with
see.
you? Why does that resonate with you?
At that point in time, it really caught my attention because of that critical thinking mindset of we overanalyze or we underanalyze when we think that we've looked at all the possibilities, but we really have only scratched the surface because we're just looking at the simple things that are easy and apparent and just obvious. And so that last part of it, where if there be one, seek it till you find it. So that's like that dedication, keep looking until you're satisfied or till your cup gets filled. And then if there be none, never mind it. And that's one of those ones where it's just like, but I'm that person that always asks why. Like, why? Why do we do this? Why is this a thing? Why is that a thing? And so it's like, I love all of it, but I almost feel like I need to challenge that last one is like, okay, never mind it, but why am I never minding it? I need to keep going. I need to figure it out. I need to know why. So it's just like, it's me, I guess.
I like it. I like it. I like it. So, where can people connect with you if they want to touch base or have questions for you?
Yeah, absolutely. You're more than welcome to send me an email to my UFL email. So it's really easy. It's Heather.Young at UFL.edu. I also have Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I can share those links with you, and you can put those in your show notes or tag them to the
Perfect.
podcast.
Well, my next line, I was going to say, I'll link those in my show notes for anyone who needs them. See,
I might have listened to a podcast or two in my day.
she's just going to take it over for me. It's fine.
Exactly. Exactly. Why
Well, I
not?
love it. Awesome. Heather, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I had a blast chatting with you
Here.
and catching up and doing all the things. If you guys listening loved this episode, please share with a friend, leave us a review, do all the things. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on upcoming episodes and all the fun things. And you can follow me at Dairy Gal Val on all of the fun social media things. And also check out my website, dairygalval.com. And we hope to see you next week. Heather, thank you so much for pulling up a Bale with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.